Welcome back. If you watched our last video, we kind of gave an overview of our entire trip to Hawaii, and this time we're just going to focus on day 6, which was our trip to the road to Hana on Valley Isle Excursions. So we're going to go through that kind of stop by stop. I'll show some videos and give you our thoughts on the whole thing. Stick around for that. Welcome back, and if you watched the last video, we did go through our kind of whole trip to Hawaii that we did in January of 2025, depending on when you're watching this. But we decided we were going to do a separate one focusing on just this one day on our trip down the road to Hana. So if you enjoyed the last video or if you enjoyed this one, we hope that you'll hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We're planning on doing more videos as we
start traveling more.
As we get to retirement, and start traveling more and kind of documenting our path. Mm-hmm. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss that when those start coming out in the future.
So like Rich said, today we're going to talk about our excursion on the road to Hana. And Rich and I had talked before we went to Hawaii about the things that we wanted to do. And I had seen it recommended by a lot of different people that you needed to experience the road to Hana. Now you had taken a previous tour of the road to Hana back.
Yeah, I went 29 years ago.
Yeah.
I did the road to Hana. The difference would be that time I drove it, right? And for those of you that spend a lot of time behind the wheel, you know that when you're driving, you don't get to see the sights. So I decided I didn't want to do that again. So we decided ahead of time that we were going to book a tour this time.
Right. Yep. And it was price-wise. Do you remember what the price was?
Yeah, it was in the neighborhood of $250, $260 a person.
Right.
We did it through a company called Valley Isle Excursions. Mm-hmm. I would highly recommend them. They treated us very well. Yeah. It wasn't cheap, but it was an all-day thing.
Right. We left, literally we were picked up at our resort at 7 o'clock in the morning and we were dropped off at 6 p.m. So it was a long day.
It was a long day.
Yeah.
Right. So here's kind of a map of the overview of what our day was going to look like. So the guide, Appa was his name. Mm-hmm. He handed it to us basically once we got on to the bus and said, here's what we're going to do today. If you look kind of closely at this map, you'll see some numbers over there, and that's the different places that we were planning to stop at. But this map doesn't do the curves and things justice. Just
right.
Kind of as an overview, he warned us right away that there were over 120 switchbacks along the way where you were just making a hairpin turn one way or the other. And I think it was 52 or 54 spots where the road was down to one lane only. So you had to make sure you weren't meeting anybody at any sort of speed.
Right.
There were several spaces along the way where he actually had to honk as he was going around a cliff corner.
Yeah.
To make sure that the person that might be coming the other way would know that we were coming. So if you're driving it yourself, you are 100% paying attention and not trying to drive off the road or drive into an oncoming car. So again, kind of the reason why I decided, hey, let's have somebody else do the driving this time.
Right. And definitely, if you have motion sickness at all, you will definitely want to take some Dramamine, which I did.
Yeah, Robbie did, and I think it saved us.
It did save me.
Actually, even on the way back, I was even and I don't get motion sickness, but just all day of back and forth, I think by the end of the day, it was kind of getting to me too.
Yeah, yep. So then our first stop, once he picked us up from the hotel, our first stop is we actually had a continental breakfast provided to us. That was part of the tour. And we went to the Maui Tropical Plantation. And it was gorgeous. It was just a stop before we even got on the road to Hana.
Right. They fed us a continental breakfast, and it was fresh fruit.
Yep.
I'm just telling you, the best pineapple in the world is fresh pineapple,
yes.
and I really like raw pineapple. I like cooked pineapple, so but it was awesome. And then they had some pastries.
Yeah, they had pastries, and then they had like warm muffins that had just come out of the oven. Oh my word. It was good. It was very good. And of course, good Hawaiian coffee as well.
and it was a this Maui tropical plantation is on the site of what used to be an actual like working plantation
Right.
on the island there. So the video that you're seeing now is just kind of outside of the little restaurant where we ate. That's kind of an overview there, looking up into the valley, and this is kind of the grounds that you're seeing here of the plantation. They've got some of the gears and some of the equipment from the time that it was a working plantation.
Right. And of course, it was a very tropical area right there, and gorgeous flowers, beautiful plants.
Yeah, so a couple of the pictures that you'll see here, the first one here is a red ginger, right?
Yeah.
And they're all over this plantation.
Right.
And then another one that we'll put on the screen is a white ginger lily, I think is what it was
Correct.
called, right? Yeah. So yeah, that was the Maui tropical plantation, and it again, the breakfast was great. They had, and the grounds are just amazing.
Immaculate.
Yeah, it's probably, and I know they have the restaurant. I mean, it was open at 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning for us. It's an all day thing. They're making stuff all day, and it gets great reviews. We did not go to the actual restaurant on our own, but
I think there was actually tours of the plantation too, but we did not tour the plantation.
Correct.
We just took a stop there.
Yeah, and the one thing about our tour guide is, especially at the beginning, he was kind of telling us about the history of Maui and how basically it used to be, the whole island used to be covered with sugarcane plantations and pineapple plantations. And now there's no sugarcane, and there's only one pineapple plantation that's left on the island, just because over time the costs it's been cost prohibitive to keep producing those things on Maui when everything has to be shipped in and shipped out.
Right.
So after we left the plantation, he's given us the history. The first stop we did was at something called the rainbow eucalyptus trees. So I've got a few pictures of those trees here from, a little bit in different distances. You just see just the colors in the bark. It was amazing.
I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, and they looked like they were wet all the time, but they weren't. That's just a really shiny bark of different. So after the rainbow eucalyptus trees, the next stop we did was at the Kaumahina State Wayside Park.
He says that like he really knows how to say that. I'm not sure if he's pronouncing that right or not.
I'm probably butchering it. So any of you native Hawaiians out there, I apologize. But here's a picture from that State Wayside Park, and this was the first stop we had to use a restroom. So about an hour and a half after we left the plantation. And that was the view. So a pretty amazing view.
Beautiful stuff. Yes.
And then after that, we went a bit farther and stopped at another just a viewpoint. And this was the Wailua Valley State Wayside Park. And a couple of pictures from there. One of the pictures is looking at the ocean. And the other side is basically you just turn 180 degrees and you're looking out into this beautiful valley. Right. Actually, the thumbnail for this video is us taking a look out into that Wailua Valley. So very beautiful, a great place to stop, and obviously a great photo opportunity as well. After we left that valley, it was only another short drive to our next stop, and that was the
Kailani. I don't know.
No, I think it was Kailani Park.
Yeah, that.
And here's some video that we took while we were at that park. Again, very, just gorgeous views. The ocean just rolling in, and it's
just breathtaking. I mean, every view, every place we stopped, it's like, man, it's just so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a very scenic place to be, and the waves. The pictures really don't do them justice, because these waves are probably 6 or 8 foot waves, and they're crashing pretty hard. So it doesn't look like a friendly place to swim, but it sure is a friendly place to look at.
Yeah. And then as we were going along, going around curves, crossing these little 1-lane bridges, there'd be all of these just beautiful little waterfalls that were just flowing along. And it's just...
our driver would say, waterfall, waterfall, waterfall.
Yeah.
As he's coming up to the bridge, the 1-lane bridge that's going around this waterfall. And Robbie was on that side, so she was able to
take a few pictures.
Get the photos from inside the the van.
Yeah.
So this one's pretty cool. The 3 different waterfalls that you see in the video.
Yeah, and the van we were in, I don't think we mentioned this. The van we were in was just like a little shuttle bus, and there was only 8 of us on it.
Eight
it
of
was
us
a
on
12
it,
passenger van, and there was 8 of us on it, and so it was really good. It was fun. It was fun to be able to just have a few of us. Yep, here comes another.
Now here's another like a picture like looking out as we're traveling at a waterfall you couldn't see from the other direction, and there you'll see how close we were to the other traffic. I mean, it was.
Like literally the cars would have to stop and take turns because there wasn't enough room. There was not enough room for 2 cars to be on the road at the same time.
Right.
It was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we left, we left at Plantation about 8:40 or 8:45.
Yep.
And it was 11:30 or so before we got to the town of Hana, and then through the town of Hana a little bit to where we had our planned lunch.
Right.
And that was at at Kailani's gift shop.
Yeah.
Nice little shop. The lady there makes her own jewelry. She's got a story to tell about what all the jewelry is, and some really nice stuff. And again, the gardens in this place,
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
You can't, again, the pictures don't do it justice. Just gorgeous, vibrant colors, beautiful, very well kept. Stunning. That's a poinsettia tree or poinsettia bush, I guess. I'm not sure, maybe tree, but just, oh my word.
And then there's a yellow hibiscus flower. I mean, just beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
And then they told us we were kind of in a bit of a neighborhood for that gift shop. It was in a neighborhood you could tell was kind of a well-off sort of neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the lady told us, they don't want you taking pictures of their houses, which I 100% get. People deserve their privacy, even in paradise, right? But I was able to walk up the road a bit, and here's some video of just a lookout point that's right by that Kailani's gift shop, and
just breathtaking.
Breathtaking views just all around, and just continues to amaze me, God's creation here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of that, as we left that place and we got back through Hana, we're just driving down the road, and here's a picture of just a cross out in the middle of a field on a hill.
Yeah, and I don't think our driver said anything about why that was there, but it was just like, wow. It
was almost like just God just reminding us that we were just looking at his glory and his beauty and what he put out there for us to enjoy.
Right, exactly. And I don't think we mentioned it, but at that little gift shop area, that is where we did have our lunch.
Yep.
And that was included in our expenses. That was included in the fee. And it was a great lunch. It was chicken. And
huli chicken.
Huli chicken and rice and what
Hawaiian mac salad.
Oh, yeah.
The macaroni salad is really good.
Yeah.
And, for those of you that haven't been to Hawaii, I love the pog, they call it. And I get it pretty much every chance I get it. It's pineapple, orange guava juice, and it's great. I mean, you can get it here too, but
it's filled with sugar.
Yeah, I'm sure it is filled with sugar.
But it's good.
Then after we left lunch, then we're heading back, and our driver told us on the way, I'm going to talk to you the whole way out, but I'm not going to talk to you on the way back because I don't want to repeat myself, because the only way back is down the same road you just came.
Yeah.
But we did have a couple of stops. So one of them was at this is the worst one to pronounce.
Nanapopapa, whatever.
The Waianapanapa State Park.
What he said.
Easier to remember it as is the Black Sand Beach State Park. So this is a picture from one of the first lookouts there in that state park. If you straight out in that picture is where I'm going to show you a picture of or a little video of the Black Sand Beach blowhole, and that's straight out on that peninsula out there. So we walked out to that peninsula, and once you're out there, then here's that picture of the blowhole, the waves just crashing up into there, and as they crash into there, then of course the water spouts out. And this was super interesting to me because if you look at this, it looks like somebody has cut into the rocks. There's they're like right angles. It's just kind of the strangest thing. But boy, when that water comes in there and crashes, it really does. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it just reinforces to you the power of the ocean and the importance of what they tell you all the time: never turn your back to the water, right? Never turn your back to the waves, because you just don't know what the power of those waves will do.
And the next picture here is just a picture like right by that blowhole where we went back and you look back at the actual black sand beach.
Yeah.
And you can see there's people there on the beach. I mean, it's obviously a tourist attraction. And then, you turn 60 degrees from there and you get this view of another, just a gorgeous view of the waves crashing up against the lava rock.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, reinforcing the power. So much power in the water, that's for sure.
Right. And so after this, and I went swimming there at the sand beach for a few minutes. And
did not.
No, she did not.
The waves were a little too much for me. I'm like, just go have at it, have fun. I'll see you when you come back.
So I did a little bit, and then we got back on the bus, and off we went again.
Yep.
And the next place we stopped was at, let me find the name of this park again.
Oh, man.
The next place was the...
Pu'aka'a.
Hey, that's pretty close.
Hey.
Pu'aka'a Waterfalls.
Pu'aka'a.
So this video here is of one of the Pu'aka'a Waterfalls, and I think there's actually 3 there. But this is the one that our driver said was the only one where we could go swim, and you can see the blur that was up in the corner, or that's up in the corner of the video. That's a lady that was going to jump off the cliffs, and actually one of the guys from our trip went up there and jumped off of it, and the water was very cold. And I was so tempted.
He was
I fought with myself the whole time there.
I kept telling him, 59-year-old men don't jump off of a waterfall cliff. But I thought you were going to do it, but you ended up not doing it.
I didn't do it. And then, so that was, we're probably halfway back, and then we spent a good amount of time in the car, and the drivers basically, Appa said to us, all right, you guys have been such great people, we're going to stop and see the sea turtles. So it's kind of an unplanned stop.
Yep.
So here's a picture of just a beach. The beach was called the Ho'okipa Beach.
There you go.
Ho'okipa Beach. And here you see all these sea turtles here on the beach.
They looked like they were dead.
Yeah, they didn't
none
move.
of them move. They just sit there.
But they weren't dead because it didn't smell really bad.
No, and every once in a while you would see like a head come up, like slow come up.
Right, and there was one time when the wave actually crashed up on it, and a couple of them really kind of had to move.
It's like woke them up.
So that there was just literally probably 20 of them there, and here's kind of a good close up of one of the turtles, and then as we were getting out of there, actually we were late. Robbie and I were the last ones back on the bus. We took a look at the turtles, and then we walked out on a peninsula and just wanted to we knew it was going to be our last time, the last thing to stop on this trip. So we stopped and took a little video of the ocean, and just again to show its power. And this time I'm going to let you hear the sound a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just pretty amazing, just the view and the wonder of God's creation.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was day 6 of our trip.
Mm-hmm.
The road to Hana is definitely something to go on, whether or not you decide to drive it yourself or get on a tour like we did. There are definitely upsides to driving it. I mean, you can stop whenever you want,
right.
and maybe take it longer. I mean, I saw quite a few people who said the best way to do it is to take a whole day to get out there and find a place to stay in Hana, and then the next day make the trip back. We didn't do that.
No.
I don't know that we would do that now that we've been out there, but definitely worth the time, and just the beauty of it was amazing.
It is a really long day, but it is a day that I'm so glad we did it, because you just have to experience it. And even though it did take all day long, it was worth it. It was worth it. And
worth it.
Yep.
So that's our I guess our take on the trip to Road to Hana. Mm-hmm. It's a must do if you go to Hawaii, if you go to Maui. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, like our video. I'm going to link to the one that we did about our entire trip right here. So hopefully you'll take a look at that one as well. It's quite a bit longer, but hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching us. God bless.